That's one issue I would like to discuss during this convention as well. It's something that's a topic that they haven't been talking about it. I think we're going to say one second. I think they will ban boxing for 2 years. I think Pac was recently making a statement about it. I think the idea, if I'm right, stick to the 1 year, we'll ban the boxing 1 year, whatever it is. I think it's a little bit difficult to do.
The World Boxing Association, WBA, President Gilberto Mendoza has officially revoked Gervonta Tank Davis's boxing license following the controversial 9th-round incident in his fight against Lamont Roach earlier this month. The decision comes amid mounting backlash against the WBA for what many are calling blatant double standards. Critics argue that referee Steve Willis, the judges, and the technical review team played a direct role in robbing Lamont Roach of what should have been his 26th career victory.
Cards. Judge at the ringside, Eric Marlinski scores at 115 to 113 in favor of Gervonta Davis. Judges Steve Weisfeld and Glenn Feldman both scored about 114 to 114, even a draw. The decision is a majority draw.
So,
Right.
But you say you don't think he well enough.
whatever. See, but who cares? Like, sweat gonna get in your eye, blood gonna get in your eye, spit fuck around and get in your eye. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like you can be like, all right, time out, ref. Hold on,
Take no
ref.
time out.
Can't do that.
Right. Would you be cool with Steve Willis doing the next fight?
Hell no.
He can't do the next fight.
No, he can't do the next fight.
The WBA had a golden opportunity to restore its credibility and prove that it stands for fairness in boxing. Instead, it delivered yet another disappointment to the entire boxing community. Despite overwhelming evidence of human and technical errors in the fight, the organization refused to overturn the result in favor of Lamont Roach. The preference for Gervonta Davis, the clear A-side in the bout, was undeniable. Following a review of the controversial fight, the WBA doubled down on its stance, fueling outrage from fans and boxing professionals alike. The backlash was swift and unfiltered as the boxing world condemned the WBA's lack of integrity. Now, in what appears to be an attempt at damage control, WBA President Gilberto Mendoza has seized Gervonta Davis's boxing license and imposed a 1-year suspension, effectively shutting down any talks of an immediate rematch.
There's no studies about it. There's nothing that can say which the pros or the average, which one is dangerous or which one is not. So, I look forward to having whatever medical guidance we need to follow. They will look in order to protect boxers. That's one thing. I'm really concerned with this matter and not jump ahead. So I do believe that the international community, a lot of professionals can participate in different other sports.
After Gervonta Tank Davis was outclassed by WBA super featherweight champion Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1st, the fight ended in a controversial majority draw, tarnishing Davis's once perfect record. The real uproar, however, came from the bizarre 9th-round incident. Davis unexpectedly took a knee, yet referee Steve Willis ruled it not a knockdown, despite initially starting a standing 10 count. The explanation? Grease from Davis's hair had supposedly dripped into his eyes, impairing his vision. Regardless of the excuse, that moment altered the scoring and robbed Roach Jr. of a well-earned victory. The controversy only deepened when, a week later, the New York State Athletic Commission revealed that a technical issue had prevented officials from reviewing replays of the incident. However, the WBA was forced to revisit the incident after Roach's team submitted a formal appeal, an appeal that should have ideally led to the draw being overturned in Roach's favor. Meanwhile, in a now-deleted article on the WBA's official website, the organization attempted to justify referee Steve Willis's controversial call. The report argued that, from our perspective, Willis's decision was neither unreasonable nor unjustifiable. The article further defended the referee's ruling, claiming that he made the call in real time and determined that Davis had not been struck by a punch before taking a knee. Therefore, it could not be considered a knockdown.
What you was thinking when Tank did that when he took the knee? What you was thinking when he took the knee?
I can't speak. Can't speak on that? He did some bullshit though? I can't speak. You have no personal opinion, nothing?
By regulation, judges must follow the referee's rulings. They have no authority to override decisions on knockdowns. A now-deleted WBA article even went as far as defending Steve Willis's call, stating, "Some skeptics have suggested that Willis's decision unfairly benefited Davis, but we do not subscribe to that notion." However, once this report surfaced, the backlash was swift and relentless. The WBA found itself under heavy fire from fans and analysts, leading many to speculate that the article's removal was an attempt to backtrack on their stance. As the controversy grew, WBA President Gilberto Mendoza Jr. was forced to issue an official statement addressing the now-deleted report.
And it will be a lot of things to do. I'm not trying to find a plan to do it. That's one thing I have because regarding the rest, I hope you could enjoy China. We're fortunate to go to China this convention.
That was the sharp response from WBA President Gilberto Mendoza Jr. after backlash erupted over the now-deleted article. Mendoza attempted to distance the organization from the controversy, stating, "The opinion came from a collaborator of the WBA website. He doesn't belong to any committee, nor does he have any influence or authority in our association." Meanwhile, Lamont Roach Jr. took to Twitter to express his frustration, making it clear that the fight's outcome didn't sit right with him. "Y'all tweaking if y'all think Buddy was just off that night. That stuff is just different in there with me. I told y'all from the start. Just because I, and everybody else too, feel like I won, y'all acting like I said he was easy work or something. The knockdown gives me a UD.
Oh, and that right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still, Roachling was right. He took a knee. He took a knee.
You take a knee like that, that looks like a knockdown. All right?
That's a generous call from him.
Did he not take a knee?
Took him out. He took him out. That's right.
Oh, here comes.
After the controversial majority draw, WBA President Gilberto Mendoza began pushing for an immediate rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. Mendoza acknowledged the controversy and made it clear that a second fight was necessary to settle the debate once and for all. "I think there's not going to be any doubt about having a rematch on this," he told the Ring. "We need to send a strong message out there. If the WBA formally orders the fight, Davis and Roach would have 120 days to run it back. For Roach, the underdog who shocked the world, this would be a chance at redemption." Meanwhile, Davis, after facing heavy online backlash for the 9th round knee, insists he welcomes the rematch.
There's another comparison I don't want to make to Mike Tyson.
Nah, that's crazy. That's what he do. He get dirty.
With that said, it appears the controversial report on the WBA's website was either published by mistake or was simply an opinion that the organization does not officially endorse. Still, the real question now is, what will the New York State Athletic Commission decide? Could this lead to Gervonta Davis officially being handed his first career loss, or will boxing's so-called face of the sport once again escape unscathed due to his power and influence? And make no mistake, power and influence are at the heart of this controversy. When you factor in how much money this fight generated, it's easy to see why some are skeptical about any real consequences. According to boxing insider Dan Rafael, sources confirm that Davis versus Roach pulled in at least 260,000 pay-per-view buys, with one source placing the number at 262,000.
Punch in this fight in the championship rounds.
Nice right uppercut, left hook. Oh, another right hand, another right left by Roach. Davis fighting on even terms here in the 11th. Both of them have landed same amount of punches.
Roach still talking to Tank.
And Davis keeps the body shot. And another left hook upstairs, right hand. Left, oh, but there's a counter left from Davis.
The decision is a majority draw.
With a $79.95 price tag, Davis versus Roach generated a staggering $21 million in pay-per-view revenue across all platforms in the United States. This includes purchases from Prime Video, PPV.com, and traditional cable PPV services. Inside the Barclays Center, a record-setting 19,250 fans packed the arena, making it the highest-attended boxing event in the venue's 13-year history. That massive turnout helped push the live gate to nearly $7 million, the second largest in Barclays history. Only surpassed by a Rolling Stones concert on the PPV front, this marks the fourth best-selling event at Gervonta Davis's 8 PPV headliners. Yet, despite these massive numbers, the boxing world seems to be at a standstill because all eyes are on Davis. Right now, the WBA lightweight champion and those around him are under intense scrutiny. Every move is being analyzed, every decision questioned. And in the midst of this chaos, the WBA made a critical misstep, one they're now scrambling to clean up, but one thing remains unchanged. Lamont Roach still wants his win.
You know, obviously the part with the grease in the eye, that took on a life of its own, you know what I'm saying? That was a headline in the fight. One is, what did you think when he said that initially, just like the grease in the eye? But two is like, when you was in the fight, was there any point that you saw that? Like, did you see like him kind of messing with his eye, or did you have any indication that that was something that was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him.
Nearly 3 weeks have passed, yet the boxing world is still buzzing about the WBA lightweight title fight between Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. The controversy surrounding the bout refuses to die down. Not just because of Davis taking a knee in the 9th round or his corner illegally wiping his face without penalty, but also because of the ongoing war of words between the two fighters since the fight ended. Roach has made multiple appearances on big-time podcasts, doubling down on his belief that he should have been declared the winner instead of settling for a majority draw. His persistence has kept the rematch conversation alive, with fans debating whether justice was served. Roach has also been stirring the pot on social media. On March 18th, he sent out a post that did not sit well with Tank's fanbase. Exactly the reaction he was likely aiming for.
And that, like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of landed. He kind of rolled with it, but after that, you could see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you could see him wipe his other eye. So it's like, it was corresponding to which hand that I punched him with, and exactly which eye. So it's like crazy for him to say, it's grease in my eye. And I think even when he say that, you could see me, because I'm right beside him, you could see me like...
On some real stuff, why are some of you mad? Because a lot of people think I won the fight. I'm confused, gang. What's going on? Did I do something to you guys? That was the message Lamont Roach Jr. posted on X, formerly Twitter. A post that quickly racked up over 215K views and 425 comments in less than 2 days. It's a textbook move. Bait the opponent's fan base, keep the conversation alive, and build anticipation for a rematch. And judging by the engagement, Roach's strategy is working. The comments section is flooded with Davis supporters, proving that the fight and its controversy is still a hot topic. Legendary boxing coach Teddy Atlas has also thrown his support behind Roach. Breaking down the 9th round on his podcast, Atlas explained exactly why Roach's performance was so impressive. I always say, sometimes the safest place, believe it or not, is in the eye of the storm. Roach understood that. You need the nerve, confidence, and mental toughness to do it. He had all that. Not just the size, reach, and ability, but the nerve to go in there, which many can't. And not just survive, prosper, make hay, actually win in spots. Then what did he do? He started walking Tank down late in the fight.
But like, he wiped his face with a towel. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do none of that.
Right.
That's a disqualification. You turned your back on the ref after you took a knee.
Legendary coach Teddy Atlas echoed the sentiments of many in the boxing world. Lamont Roach should have gotten the win. I thought it was a close fight, not a huge robbery. There were a lot of close rounds, but I think Roach deserved to get his hand raised. I'd have to watch it again, but Tank had the edge in the early and middle rounds. Nice shots, good body work, doing what he usually does. But Roach came on strong late and maybe took the title, or at least earned the draw. But then Atlas pointed out something no one else had mentioned, Around the 5th round, Tank started tapping gloves with Roach, saying, "Hey bud, good round." We've never seen that before. Tank's got disdain, attitude, arrogance. He's the boogeyman, knocking guys out, giving no reprieve, no hope. He makes them feel like he's the bad guy and bad things are going to happen. Suddenly, he's tapping Roach? That's a message. I noticed it right away. No other commentators mentioned it, but I called it live during our watch-along. And don't think Roach didn't notice either.
He got away with it. But the sport let him get away with it. There's nothing wrong with the fighters. It's the administrators of this sport that there's a lot wrong with. And there is. And you see it. And we shouldn't keep seeing it. It's got to be stopped. A referee, that is not in the rule book. You get hit with a jab. I know there was a second or two in between. Sometimes you see a delay, knockdown, whatever. The punch didn't hurt him. I understand that. But he got hit a jab, and then a second, 2 seconds later, he takes a knee. Guess what? I'm sorry. That constitutes a knockdown.
Teddy Atlas continued, breaking down a key moment that many overlooked. If I'm in Roach's corner, and they did a great job, I'm pointing that out as soon as he gets back. I'd say, but getting to this guy, he doesn't do that. He's making a concession, admitting you're getting to him. This is different tonight. You're making him feel vulnerable. Atlas went on to highlight how Roach's confidence grew as the fight progressed. I don't know if his corner told him, but maybe Roach felt it himself. You could see his confidence growing round by round. He looked like a different fighter, a bigger fighter, as the fight went on. You know those little sponge figurines I used to buy for my grandkids? The ones you drop in water and they expand? That's what Roach was doing, getting bigger right before our eyes. Then, Atlas made a crucial point about Tank's unusual behavior in the ring. To your point, Tank touching him? Of course, Roach saw it, felt it, knew what it meant. It meant Tank was giving in a certain way. I'm not saying it was everything, but in a fight like that, against a monster, an unbeatable, dangerous force, all you need is a little something.
After a punch somewhere around there, that's a knockdown. There is, again, we're not in football. There are no fair catches here. You know what I mean? And if it was, to your point last night when I said it, it would be a touchback. You know what I mean? It would, if you took a knee in a certain situation, it would be a touchback. You know, I mean, there were rules for a reason. Unless even Crawford came out.
Teddy Atlas had nothing but praise for Lamont Roach, emphasizing a key moment in the fight. Suddenly, Tank showed a crack, and Roach saw it, felt it, witnessed it. He was part of it. In that moment, he thought, I'm on the right path. I needed that assurance, that verification. I'm getting to him. Tonight is different. Atlas went on to describe how Roach capitalized on that shift. What did he do? He started backing Tank up, something I would have been worried about, to be honest. But he did it with a tight defense behind that jab, with short, sharp punches. He started bossing him around, becoming the boss of the fight. Then, Atlas drew an unexpected comparison. Tank Davis and Mike Tyson. We all know about my history with Mike Tyson, and I couldn't help but notice the similarities here. When you rely on intimidation, I'm not saying Tank does to the same degree, but Tyson did. And then suddenly, the other guy isn't intimidated. That flips the script. The intimidator becomes the intimidated. A little bit of that happened here. Finally, Atlas summed up what Roach's performance meant. Bottom line, Roach fought a hell of a fight. He deserves tremendous credit. He walked into the lion's den and came out unscathed, backing Tank up. That's a win for him. He didn't get Tank's belt, but he won last night. And now, we can't wait for that rematch. His stock just went way up.
Crawford, pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world, in the top 3 between him, Inoue, and Usyk, right? I got Usyk first. I got him and Inoue right there. I think Usyk deserves to be first after what he's done, putting together the heavyweight title, the whole thing, the whole shebang. But Crawford came out and said, I didn't know that was a rule. I guess I was sleeping when they passed that one. I guess I was taking a nap. Or maybe I was out doing road work. He didn't say that, by the way. I'm just adding that to it. But I must have been busy doing something with that rule. That is not a rule. I said it earlier. There's This is not the Indianapolis 500. You can't go into pit row. That you need your oil.
Following his contentious draw with Lamont Roach, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis, an exhibition match that had been gaining traction, has officially fallen through. Sources reveal the discussions were well underway for Davis and Paul to square off after Paul's high-profile victory over Mike Tyson last November. Had Tank emerged victorious against Roach, the fight was likely to be scheduled for the summer. However, after the WBA seized Davis's boxing license, his team reportedly halted all profitable discussions regarding the matchup. In the end, the official decision of the Davis-Roach fight read point 115-113 in favor of Davis, 114-114. 114-114, majority draw.
Place there, two quality fighters, short punches, putting them together on the inside. That's science. I know a lot of people say, no, Teddy, that's fire. That's offense. That's aggression. No, that's the sweet science. You can do the sweet science and be aggressive. You don't have to do it on the outside only. You don't have to do it only, with separation. You don't have to do it only.
Ringside at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, Jake Paul watched the chaos unfold. But now, his future fight plans are in tatters, with the Davis versus Roach rematch now targeted for either June 21st at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas or June 28th in Atlanta or Miami. Any hopes for a crossover fight between Paul and Davis have been put on ice. Tank had previously thrown down the gauntlet, making his call out loud and clear. Tell him this is my call out. Jake Paul, what up? What up, Jake Paul? Paul, never want to back down from trash talk, quickly fired back on social media. Floyd's little son calling me out. Come on, little Tank. You know better. Of course, a sanctioned fight between them was always a long shot, with Davis competing around 135 pounds, lightweight, even dipping as low as 130 pounds, super featherweight, and Paul fighting in the 190 to 200 pounds cruiserweight range. The weight difference alone made the matchup highly improbable.
Is Jake Paul someone you'd want to take on at one point?
Yeah, tell him this is my call out. Jake Paul, what up? What up, Jake Paul?
Rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. Judges at ringside next to Luca and Benoit Roussel both scored about 119 to 109. Judge Thomas Rigg scores at 120 to 108. All three in favor of the winner by unanimous decision.
This stands in sharp contrast to Paul's cruiserweight frame, especially after tipping the scales at a massive 227 pounds for his fight against Mike Tyson. The idea of a Paul versus Davis crossover bout was heavily inspired by Jake's brother, Logan Paul, who shared the ring with Floyd Mayweather in a 2021 exhibition. Back then, Logan weighed in at 189.5 pounds, while Mayweather was a full 34.5 pounds lighter at 155 pounds. A similar catchweight arrangement was likely in the works for Davis versus Paul. But with Tank's boxing license now revoked, those plans have completely unraveled. What do you think? Will the WBA reverse its decision and push the rematch forward? Or is this the beginning of a long, uncertain road for Gervonta Davis? Fire, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Fire, and that's all for now. For the best updates on boxing news, fights, and drama, stay locked in with us. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and never miss a beat. Until next time, peace.